here to review
MF Doom, MF Doom, MF Doom, MF Doom.
Food.
MF Doom.
We were originally going to do this video for New Year's in light of the unfortunate recent news, which we got just a couple hours before New Year's Eve, before the new year. I sent it to you. I was devastated because it was right after we did Madvillainy, our first review, and it turns out he was actually already passed away by the time we even did that review. They haven't even released the cause of death, and honestly, I hope they never do, because he deserves that respect, and out of respect, we also moved this back a little bit. I was watching an interview with him, I think from 2015, it was like 2014, 2015. They asked him, why do you wear the mask? And he said because he feels like music nowadays is more about the image than it is about the actual music. So he said by wearing the mask, he wants it to make it more about you're not really trying to size him up. You're just there to listen to his music. My question of the day is, what is your favorite non-lyrical Doom quote? The memes about the white people in MF Doom, those are funny. But at the same time, I don't understand why you need to be a certain skin color to be able to appreciate a certain kind of music. You know, and I think that's what Doom stood for. That's why I appreciate Doom that much. Food by MF Doom came out the same year as Madvillainy, along with that instrumental album I was telling you about, which I love. And you said you like this one more than Madvillainy.
I do.
That's interesting.
After listening through its entirety, I think I just like the production more, the beats that follow it, and also I think he was smart to pick a topic that everybody can get behind, which is food.
Food. I love food. I eat them almost every day.
I know. I think everybody.
So without further bullshit, we'll get into track one, Beef Rap.
Beef rap.
You know what the meaning of beef and rap is?
Yeah, like you have a fight.
Doom on this one talks about his distaste for it. You hear beefs like the Meek Mill and Drake beef. I'm sure they were buddies the whole time. It's all marketing, all promotion.
Or there was the one with Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem.
That's not beef, that's chicken, that's like white meat. Doom's frequent use of 80s cartoon samples are rampant on this one. Masterfully weaves the instrumental into it too, right? The entire time you kind of have that old school orchestra beat in the background that you hear from like an old school TV from the 80s. I can't think of a more Doom way to start off an album. I give it an 8.
Like you were saying, rappers will make their career off just having beef with other people to boost sales or just like be that type of person. He's more just here to make the music and allow the listeners to enjoy and have a good time. The heavy use of the quips from TV shows and movies from back in the days is awesome because it really shows that he took the time to find scenes and put them into a certain order to get your attention as to like what he wants the song to be about. Fantastic way to start the whole album. So I gave it 7.5.
In an era where as close to 100% as you can get of all rap music, the beat is always, you know, the rattling hi-hat, the deep sub-bass, just the same percussion instruments over and over again. It's a little refresher where we got the beatbox instead. He continues the food theme by referencing a culturally black 19th century dish called Hoe Cakes, which is spelled as one word, to brag about his hoes, along with more food lyrics throughout the song. I like this one a little bit more than typical rap songs where they just brag about everything, is because here Doom sticks with one topic, right? He's got his hoes. It's not I got hoes, Xannies, Bentleys, lean, and more hoes.
And grills. He wants to maintain the rapper persona of like he's got hoes, but he does it in his own interesting way that isn't boring. Having to do with the cultural aspect is impressive, while also making it a cultural aspect of being a rapper. One of my favorite lines, the Black Wookie, I thought that was funny. I stopped to laugh at that. He puts his own twist on it. It's memorable and it's just funny.
Super. I give it a 7.
7.5.
Only 2 tracks after Doom talks about his distaste for beef rap, he goes after one of his partners, MF Grimm. MF Doom and MF Grimm, they both grew up around the same area, the Long Island, New York, Manhattan area. They were both in the same circles, but they also had a common interest for comic books. They love comic books and superheroes. MF really came from that friendship with Grimm. Grimm was rapping about murdering, rapping about drugs. He was a drug dealer. Doom was too. But Grimm was more into that dark stuff. He gets arrested after his successful album Operation Doomsday, which we should get to sometime soon. Has this huge success with his album. Grimm was salty that he had success, so he expected Doom to kind of just, you know, not work and do nothing until he gets out of prison.
The West Coast type of beat and also the really simple but relaxing guitar sound. I thought the OJ reference was funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
fit like OJ.
Fit like OJ.
Doom also packs a ton of metaphors into each bar, so even though the song's 3 minutes, it took me like 15 minutes to get through the entire thing.
Yeah.
My favorite bar is the 10.5 Tims to kick your bum a clap, because I happen to wear 10.5 Tims, right? I'm actually a size 12 too, and I wear 10.5 Tims, so that's a sign from Doom that he's passing on the Tim mantle to me to kick people's asses with my 10.5 Tims. That's a sign from up above.
Thank you, Doom. He's probably shaking his head right now. He's probably like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is this white kid saying? Pluck string beat like you were talking about, perfect for the song, as Doom and Count Bass D weave in more food metaphors on this food-themed concept album. 8.5.
I gave it an 8. This is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, shit.
I couldn't figure out what he used. I don't know if you did.
Keyboard, it's a synthesizer.
Synthesizer, yeah. I love how it changes to, like, it's the female singing in the background with the drum fills repeated and the low bass. It's fast-paced, catchy. It's a fantastic mix.
This is a throwaway from Madvillainy.
So
Madlib did this one.
So Madlib killed it. MF Doom laying it down the way he did.
He flexes on you yet again, but he's not flexing his Xannies and Bentleys and Rolls Royces and bitches and hoes, which he already flexed the hoes. But he flexes his actual rap talent, and get that.
He does.
The song has the quintessential Doom vibe in the sense that it has the old school sample, creative wordplay, and really chill vibe with an instrumental that almost sounds like a 70s classic rock band with the bass and the drums. That's why I figured you probably liked it a little bit. So I gave it an 8.
8.5.
More shots at Grim. This one a little bit more obvious than Potholderz. The harmonizing voice gives this one of the catchier melodies so far in the entire album. Song reminds me a little bit of Frenz by Kanye. I don't know if you ever heard that. Real Friends?
No.
From The Life of Pablo. I was watching that same interview I was telling you in the beginning. They asked him, if there's one artist right now you'd like to collaborate with, who would it be? And he said Kanye, which unfortunately we'll probably never get unless that's already made, but that would have been cool to hear. Again, an 8.
Great flow, great rhyming. MF Doom is really just anchored. He understands what the normal person goes through. Honestly, I think it's one of like the easy top 5 beats off this album. The ending with the funny, quips as usual is it's great. I give this one an 8.
Kon Karne, I believe.
So I was gonna let you say it, so that way if it
that way I look like an ass and not you.
Yeah.
Doom again returns to an old school jazz blues vibe that he does so well with the upright bass and piano beat. He pays tribute to his late brother Sub Rock, who I talked about earlier, and thankfully he's with Sub Rock now. Another more laid back track, but the emotion and the words and the beat separates it from the other one, so I gave this one an 8 as well.
This title is Spanish for with me. It's cool that it was like a little breather, just like instrumentals. And then he kicks it right back in, so I gave it a 7.
You were waiting for this one.
Guinnesses, yes.
He gives this one entirely to Four Eyes and Angelika, who is actually, her real rap name is Star, but his credit is Angelika on here for some reason.
That's a weird way to spell star.
staHHr. She does a nice job with the bars when you think about female rappers, at least today, Cardi B, who put no effort into their music whatsoever, but if you don't like them, you're a sexist. She knows what she's there to do and focuses on that more instead of pushing a narrative. I thought she did a great job. Hook by Four Eyes, I thought was also pretty memorable. He likes to always have a feminine track on there. He likes to mix it up. He likes to change it up a little bit. He doesn't want to just, this is the same thing for the whole album, which I totally respect. Doom always comes with the great beats too. He produced this one.
Oh, yeah.
So all that being said, I give this one a 6.5. And when I listen to a Doom album, I listen to a Doom album to hear Doom.
No,
so it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like 6.5 still on the positive side, but it's like, it's not Doom.
I would have to agree 100% though. It's probably my least favorite on the album because I'm here for MF Doom. But once again, has a concrete backing to it, and it follows the flow of the album. More food related. I'll do 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. All right. Comes back with the fastest flow on the record for this one, high energy. The beat matches the aggressive energy too and sounds like something you hear on a modern rap album. Originally a song called Yeehaw that he renamed to match the food theme of the album. Kon Queso means cheese in Spanish, and it means cash in like street slang, and it matches the food theme of the album. I always prefer energy like this in rap music. It's a great workout song, and I know he's getting us ready for something big on the other side. So I give this one an 8.5.
It's got the low bass feel. Even when he didn't produce some of the ones on here, the people he had doing it were skilled enough to match what he was doing. Another strong addition, so I gave it an 8.
Here we go.
Time has come.
Here we go. The first time the two of us heard this song, we knew it as Coffin Nails.
Coffin
from
Nails.
his instrumental album, Special Herbs. The song heavily samples an old cover of a David Bowie song. It's called Space Oddity, and it's a cover by a guy named David Matthews. The sample's around 209 on the original sample, and it's probably the only cool part of the entire song. So it's amazing that Doom went in there, found this diamond out of the piece of shit that it actually is, and turned it into one of the greatest beats I've ever heard. I didn't know if I was going to like it being rapped over, since you even talked about this, since it was such a great instrumental by its own. But I think Mr. Fantastik and Doom killed it. It was super ahead of its time, meaning-wise. I've seen countless articles of rappers admitting to crimes in their songs. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I still do prefer it as an instrumental, but I think they still nailed it rapping over it. And I think that was funny. They both sang the same lyrics, and then MF Doom drops off, and then Mr. Fantastik continues. It has to be one of the greatest beats of all time. I mean, it's fantastic.
I talked about it in our Madvillainy review, how Accordion was the greatest hip-hop beat of all time. That was before I knew this one existed.
Yep.
And of course, the Heavy Rain beat. So this one is a 10.
Wow.
If Accordion was a 10, this is a 10 too.
I would give it a 9.
No. Vomitspit discusses the other side of the coin, where rappers, especially today, brag about things they never really have done just to create some kind of image. Doom, on the other hand, uses more food metaphors to rap about his integrity in his rhymes, like the line, "Even when the ribs were touching, I never swallowed the ham." So that's actually a reference to how he was starving, but he never sacrificed his integrity to get ahead or get money.
Right.
It's also a reference to his religion. He's actually Islamic. He's actually a Muslim. Doom switches up the typical piano sound with an electric piano, which is really cool. It's used in those 70s and 80s
kind of sound like
jazz.
like an organ type, like really low.
This deep into an album, you usually don't get this much effort in terms of lyrics and beat, so I gave this one a 7.5.
The high key notes and the low organ sounding, and of course the instrumental outro made it a solid, second to last song on the album. I would have to give it a 7.
Doom feeds us cookies for dessert. This song is about beating his meat, choking the chicken, spanking the monkey, shaking hands with the milkman,
Getting caught by his wife,
polishing the banister. Doom tells a story on this one, and unfortunately he tells it very well. Quite an interesting way to finish off a masterpiece of an album about food, where he nuts all over the table. I'll give it a 7.
I mostly wrote about what the song sounded like. It seems like he really went hard on this song, you know what I mean? However he figures out his drum tracks are just, I think, excellent. As a way to end the album, I'm going to keep the rating of 8.
Overall, I'm surprised you like this one more than Madvillainy. Madvillainy is just, the production on that one is spectacular. However, production on this one, with Doom doing the whole thing, I think makes it that much more impressive, because this was almost like a one-man show if you don't count the features. I'm not mad at all that you picked this over Madvillainy. For me, it's a tough call, but this one I was not expecting to be anywhere as good, but it really gave it a run for its money. I'd give it an 8.5.
I was just very surprised at how much I liked it. And I really liked his production skills, and even though it came out in 2004, it sounds like 1985, the way he did it. You can see how much work and thought he put into his music. If you put 100% in, the fans will give you 100% back in. And I think that's what he did with his music, and it's a shame that he passed away. His work is admirable, and I loved pretty much each song and its meanings and how it worked with the album. So I gave this one 8.5 also.
Rest in peace to the GOAT.
R.I.P.